everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Listener Questions segment of the Meditations and More podcast, brought to you by ShamanSpiritCenter.com and LittleShaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. Today I have with me my co-host, Caitlin. She's going to help me with the questions. How you doing, Caitlin?
I'm hungry, Little Shaman.
Dinner is coming. Now, let's get started.
This first question comes from Kelly. Dear Little Shaman, firstly, a big thank you to you for all that you do to help survivors of narcissistic abuse. My question is, how do I forgive myself for having children with a narcissist? Every day I live with the guilt and regret that I didn't choose a better father for my children, and because of my mistake, they don't have two healthy, loving, and attentive parents, just one. I wish I could go back and do the work that I've done now in order to repel narcissists instead of having children with one, because my children could have grown up with a loving father instead. Sincerely yours, Kelly.
Thank you very much for that question, Kelly. I'm so sorry to hear that, but you know, it is a very, very common situation, unfortunately. The truth is, hindsight is 20/20. And we've all made mistakes. We've all done things that we know that we shouldn't have done. We've all been in situations that we know we shouldn't have been in. You can't change the past. The past is over. The only thing that you can do is learn from that and apply that knowledge to your future decisions. That's how you make sure it's not in vain. I understand exactly how you feel, and I think a lot of people probably do. It is important to forgive yourself, though, because you can't blame yourself for not knowing a lesson before you learned it. There are some things that you probably could have done differently, and you're going to have to learn to make your peace with that and learn from it so that in the future, you don't make those same mistakes again. As far as forgiving yourself, there's a couple things you can do. You know, first of all, you want to give yourself permission to be human. You're a person. You made a mistake. Nobody's perfect, right? Another thing you can do is you can write a letter to the old you, the you that was making those decisions, that didn't have the benefit of the understanding and the knowledge that you have now. I bet she could use some compassion from the person that you are now.
Yeah, I agree. It's important to show yourself some love and your past self some love, too.
Absolutely on point. Thank you very much for that question, Kelly.
This next question comes from Samantha. Hi, Little Shaman. I've been listening to your show for about 2 years now, and I have gained so much knowledge, understanding, and strength from the things you have shared. I truly will be forever grateful. My question is, what would be the best way to handle seeing and being around someone at a family event whom you have recently gone no contact with? I have found I can no longer tolerate the backstabbing and triangulation that goes on in my family, which I now understand and recognize thanks to your teachings. In April, I told my mom that I need to keep my distance for a while, and I explained my reasons. She sent a fake apology the day you posted your narcissist speak translator, and it was perfect. The family event coming up in a few weeks is in honor of my grandchild, and many family members will be there, including my mom and the flying monkeys she will have gathered around her. I'm nervous about this, but I don't want to miss the event. Any advice for this type of situation? Thanks so much, Samantha.
Thank you very much for that question, Samantha, and I'm so glad I was able to help you. You know, ordinarily I would say, well, you know, if you don't have to go, don't, but you really want to go. So basically what I would suggest is to try Gray Rock and really mentally prepare yourself before you go. If you're not familiar with the Gray Rock method, it is essentially the art of not reacting. That means you do not react emotionally to what is being said, any nasty looks you're given, or any kind of things like that. You just don't react. You will have feelings about it, and you can process them on your own time, but the basic point of it is not to feed into the situation. That is what I would suggest if you are planning on going. And remember, none of this has anything to do with you. It really doesn't. The reason that people behave this way is because of their own issues, their own reasons, their own problems. And that's not just narcissists, that's everybody. Same goes for flying monkeys. Just basically ignore them. Be polite, be cordial, act like you're at a work function or something where you don't know the people very well, and that can help you keep some distance between you and the situation.
Exactly. Whenever your mom is saying the things that trigger you, just smile, nod, and answer as briefly as possible and as unemotionally as possible. And then you can just move on.
Absolutely. Thank you so very, very much for that question, Samantha. That was a good one. I think it's something that a lot of people have problems with because even though you go no contact with this person, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're never going to see them again. And that is exactly what the Gray Rock method is for. That was a great question. Thank you.
This next question is from Love Life. Hello, I just wanted to say thank you for making videos of awareness on narcissistic people. I've learned so much once I discovered what I was dealing with. I have been dealing with a narcissist for 2 years now, and I have a 5-month-old baby with him. He has managed to triangulate me with another female this whole time I have been with him. She has contacted me several times and has taunted me on social media about still being able to have him and saying he wants her. I believe she is a narcissist as well. We live together, but he sees her on weekends. He hoovers her when she finds out he is still with me, and he hoovers me when I find out he is still messing with her, and I fall for it every time. He is clearly having us both, and I'm tired of the manipulation and abuse and competing I've been going through regarding this. My question is, how do I get out of this abusive triangle and away from the manipulation of this narcissist? He won't move out, and I've tried Grey Rock, and he takes advantage of that. I feel stuck. Please help. Love Life.
Thank you very much for that question, Love Life. Unfortunately, that's a pretty common situation, and it's complicated further by the fact that you have a little baby with him. I mean, a 5-month-old baby is a small baby, so this is a situation that you are probably not going to be able to go totally no contact with him unless it's at his instigation. As far as getting out of the abusive triangle, there's a couple things that you're going to have to do, and none of them are easy. But number one, you would have to address the cognitive dissonance that you have regarding this situation. And it's kind of a long explanation, so I do have a video about that on my channel that you can watch if you haven't seen it, that will explain to you what cognitive dissonance is and how it works and how to combat that. You're going to have to give up the fantasy of the relationship. You're going to have to break the addiction to this situation. And I have videos that explain what all those things are. And most importantly, you're going to have to put your ego to the side. A lot of the triangulation and competition that we see in these relationships is ego, because people want to win. They want to beat the other partner. They want to win the narcissist. He's kind of like a trophy. And unfortunately, when you look at the situation and what you're winning, it's not really that great of a prize. So it's kind of like quitting any other addiction or trying to stop any other bad habit. You just have to consciously, purposely stop doing it. It says here he won't move out. I don't know what that means, but he's not the only person with power in this situation. You have some power too, and it's probably a good idea for you to look at your options and see what you can do if you really don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I would also suggest that you block the other female on social media, because there's no reason why anybody needs to hear that.
Block him too while you're at it.
Yeah, I mean, why look at that or listen to that or anything? I mean, the goal is to try to have more peace in your life and less drama. That's how you can try to get away from this. And like I said, it's really important to push your ego to the side, because a lot of this is about that, and about not wanting to lose, and about wanting to prove that you're good enough and you deserve to be treated well and you deserve all of his attention. But it's obvious that he just doesn't want to be committed to anybody. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to change. So you're going to have to learn to get your own closure and take care of this situation yourself.
I was curious about where she said that she's tried Grey Rock and he takes advantage of that. Like, what do you think of that, Little Shaman?
Unfortunately, it's not uncommon. A lot of times, if you don't react, they will push harder. They will do things to try to get you to react more. Or if some people think Grey Rock means not responding instead of not reacting. So if they don't say anything, then the narcissist will say, oh, okay, well, you agree. And, things like that. It's more than likely stuff like that. That happens all the time, unfortunately. It's like dealing with a little kid. And basically what you have to remember is Grey Rock is not for them. It's not designed to control the narcissist's behavior. It's not meant to do anything to or with or for the narcissist. Grey Rock is for you, to stop you from feeding into the situation and from being driven totally insane.
That makes sense, Little Shaman. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Caitlin. And also, thank you very much, Love Life, for that question. I think it's probably a situation that a lot of people find themselves in. And unfortunately, there is no easy answer. There is no quick answer. There is no painless answer. It's just what it is.
This last question is from Anonymous. Little Shaman, I just re-listened to your Compassion Fatigue upload on YouTube. I've been a nanny for 2 years to 3 entitled children, especially the oldest. Their behavior finally pushed me over the edge, and I finally ended my employment. Actually, I quit without giving any notice. Little Shaman, I am not a quitter, and it's not like me not to offer notice. I gave the mother plenty of heads up through the 2 years that I was having a hard time dealing with the oldest. I could tell you all the things I was dealing with, but it would take a whole new email to cover. I'm sure you have an idea. Anyway, the mother just wrote off my struggle as dealing with bratty kids while she continued to indulge them. I dealt with the aftermath 4 days a week. I have a lot of the symptoms you listed with compassion fatigue. I now endure a Facebook and text message passive-aggressive smear campaign saying I abandoned the kids. Not really sure what she means by that. Any thoughts? May the Great Spirit bless you for helping so many people.
That's a very good question. And the compassion fatigue episode of the show was very popular. And I think it's probably because a lot of people have that in their life, not just people who deal with narcissists or toxic people, but just in general. And especially being someone who's a nanny or dealing with a bunch of little children, even when they're your children, can cause burnout. I mean, you can get burned out doing that because it's a lot of touchy-feely. It's a lot of, oh, come on, come here. You have to comfort them and things like that. People can get burned out from dealing with kids. Now, as far as what you're saying the mother means, she is probably referring to the fact that since you didn't give a notice and you just kind of abruptly quit because you reached your boiling point, I guess you would say, that maybe the children don't really know where you went or they didn't get any explanation and maybe, something like that. So it's up to you how you want to handle that. Maybe you don't want to reach out to her. Maybe you do. Maybe you want to at least tell the kids, hey, I can't work here anymore, but I care about you guys and things like that. Or maybe you just don't do anything. I mean, it's up to you. It's what you can deal with. It's what you want to handle. It's obvious that the stress that you were under is the reason why you did that. So it's understandable. And if you let her know for years that you were having a hard time, that the children are difficult, and she was not going to back your play or however the problem shook out, then, unfortunately, you might have done the only thing there was for you to do. So it's up to you how you want to move forward with this. If you want to do anything at all, you certainly don't have to. But as far as combating the compassion fatigue in your life right now, you want to dial down the drama a little bit. Whatever there is going on in your life that has drama, kind of step away from that a little bit until your sympathy and empathy well can replenish itself, because it will happen. It just takes a little while.
Right, I agree with that, Little Shaman. And one of the ways you can go about replenishing that well is through self-care. Yes, dial down the drama, step away from other drama in your life, but also focus on you for a little while, meditate, go on walks in nature, listen to music, read a book. A good rule of thumb to follow is you just need 1 hour a day for you, 1 day a week for you, 1 spot just for you, and 1 mantra for you. Speaking of compassion fatigue, the Little Shaman is currently developing a new workshop called Understanding and Managing Compassion Fatigue. We are hoping to have this workshop up and running in about a month. Don't forget, you are the architect of your own life and the experiences in your life. So if you don't want to see the passive-aggressive smear campaign, then you should just block it.
I totally agree with that. And 150 years ago when we were on AOL chat, there used to be a button that said ignore, where you could, it was like blocking people. And we used to say we were invoking the goddess Ignora. So don't be afraid to invoke the goddess Ignora. And poof, the people you don't want to look at and don't want to talk to and don't want to deal with disappear.
Especially in today's social media centered life, it's very easy to just block out people you don't want to talk to or don't want to see. Not so easy in real life, but...
No, but you can invoke the goddess Ignora in real life too by just walking away. And that, I think, is the lesson for a lot of these questions. Sometimes you just have to walk away or ignore people. You can't control them, and there's nothing you can do about the things they're going to say, the things they believe, or the things they do. So you just have to try to mitigate how much it affects you in your life. That's going to wrap us up here on the listener questions installment of the Meditations and More podcast. If you're interested in sending your questions in to be considered, you can send them to thelittleshamanhealing@gmail.com or through the contact form on my website, littleshaman.org. I take appointments online, over the phone, via email, via Skype, via text message. I can speak to people all over the world. You could probably send it by carrier pigeon. So if you're interested in speaking with me one-on-one, you can visit littleshaman.org and click the Book an Appointment tab to do that. As Caitlin mentioned, we do run workshops a few times a month here. Right now we have the Creating Boundaries workshop and the Shadow Work workshop running. So if you're interested in seeing what those are all about and signing up for that, that, you can visit littleshaman.org and click the workshops tab to go ahead and do that as well. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by shamanspiritcenter.com and littleshaman.org. That's me, the Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you and have a wonderful day. I got Olympic
I have to count my questions.
gold.
So today we have.
I got Olympic gold.
Go make the dinner, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Go make the dinner. Right
No,
now.
it's fine. Go
I'm
ahead.
sick
Okay,
of
I'm
you.
sorry.
Are you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay.